Apparently, I've been living under a rock because I came across the phrase living a soft life and the soft life trend about a month ago. And then I researched a little bit and found out that this whole trend became really popular about 2 years ago. Maybe it's because I don't have TikTok, or that it's just really hard for me to keep up with the trends that are going around. Get out of your lazy girl era and all of that stuff, so I guess it just passed by me. I decided to go with the trend even though it's probably not trendy anymore. I'm going to give you my definition of what I think a soft life is, and I will give you some tips on how to achieve that. For me, living a soft life essentially means that you do the things that bring you joy, that bring you peace, and that make you happy. But you get to decide on your own terms what that means for you. I don't subscribe to this hustle culture where it's only about working more, doing more, being more productive, and doing everything yourself. And I think living a softer life just means taking a step back. In our society, asking for help and accepting the help is often seen as a weakness. That is just not true. Asking for help, accepting help, does not mean you're weak. It does not mean you're incapable. It just means you're smart enough to give off some workload. You know that your plate might have been overflowingly full and you give some work to other people. You don't have to know it all. You don't have to have it all together, and it's okay to ask for help. To this day, I still struggle with accepting help. I think it's just so ingrained in my mind that asking for help is a sign of weakness. If somebody offers you help, please accept it. I had a huge aha moment when I went to a reading of the author John Strzelecki and his books, The Cafe on the Edge of the World. This is my favorite book of all time. In this reading, he asked the audience to participate in a small little test. He asked the question, who of us is willing to give help to other people? And really everybody in the audience raised their hand. And then he said, let me rephrase the question. And he said, who of you is willing to accept help from others? And almost nobody raised their hand. And then he continues to say, why are you so selfish? And everybody was like, what do you mean? I'm not selfish, I'm offering help. He said, but you know the feeling that you get when you help other people, when you can be of service to other people. You feel like you've done a good deed and it brings you joy to help other people, to make their life easier. Why are you so selfish to not let other people experience the same thing when they offer you help? And the audience was so quiet. Everybody was literally mind blown. It was like, oh my God, he's right. He's right. And that just goes to say that if you feel joy or any kind of positive emotion while you're helping other people, just remind yourself of the fact that they will feel the same thing when they do a service to you. Mindful productivity, what do I mean by that? Sometimes we think by multitasking, doing 15 things at once, scrolling on our phones, answering that email, and applying for a job is the way to go. This is this hustle culture where we always want to do more and we want to be better and be productive. When we're on a self-improvement kick, it's so easy to get caught up in, I'm going to read this many books and I'm going to do this challenge and I'm going to be bettering myself. And it's going back into this hustle culture where we're still trying to do more, be more, and where we're still not focusing on the things that are right in front of us. The way I see mindful productivity is by really choosing time out of your day and be really focused on your work. Maybe for a couple of hours, limit all the distractions and be really hyper focused on that. It will give you the bigger momentum to move forward, to go after your goals, instead of working X amount of hours, spreading yourself too thin and trying to do everything at once. Appreciate where you are right now. It's so essential to not only enjoy the big milestones and working towards the big goals, but actually enjoying the process, the journey of getting there. There's no point of only going after one milestone after the other, to go after one achievement after the other, if you do not acknowledge the process and the journey it takes to get there. If you think about big achievements, milestones that you have are out of our control, that's why it's so important to focus on the things you have control over, on your tiny habits, on your daily things that you commit to do every single day. Once we hit a milestone, once we hit this big achievement that we work towards, There will always be a new achievement, a new milestone. The journey to your achievements will take up the majority of the path towards this achievement. Try to embrace the process, try to enjoy the process, and don't get caught up in these big end goals. It's a beautiful saying in German, Der Weg ist das Ziel, which translates to the journey is the goal. And I think that's pretty accurate. I want to talk about the topic of abundance. So often we focus on the lack, all the things that we don't have, that other people have, which brings us just down and it's not serving anyone. I think we all heard sayings like, oh, there's only this much amount of money around. There's only this certain amount of jobs. If you don't make it there, there's no chance. And I think to open up this abundance mindset to really say that there is enough for everyone. Just because you didn't achieve it by age 30, that doesn't mean you're never going to achieve it. Keep going and keep believing in yourself. I believe with my whole heart that there is enough for everyone. On the topic of abundance, I probably sound like a broken record, but focusing on the things you have, being grateful for what you already have is a total mindset shift. You can go with more ease into your day if you focus on things that you have in your life. Maybe writing down 3 things in the morning or thinking about 3 things, and then the same thing before you go to bed really shifts your mood and just makes you appreciate all the amazing things that are already in your life. To live a softer life, I think we also have to talk about taking responsibility. And taking responsibility for ourselves. Taking responsibility for your actions, for your emotions, for your feelings means that you really are in control. So often we think that all of the things are out of our control, and while we focus on goals, achievements sometimes that are really out of our control, this is things where you can dial back in and really how you present yourself and how you can change things. If you don't like something, you have the opportunity to change that. You have the option to speak your truth, to say what's on your mind, and change the things that don't work out, that you do not like currently. If you're stuck at a really stressful job, you have the option to apply for a different job, to go look for something else. You're not stuck where you are. And just knowing that we have this control over our own lives, we have this responsibility for ourselves, is really freeing. We have this decision fatigue sometimes where we're not allowing ourselves to make the decisions for us because we're afraid to take responsibility. We're afraid of the consequences that could come from our decision, because every decision comes with a consequence. Just knowing that you have control over your life and really be responsible for yourself, so freeing. It's so liberating. Prioritize yourself, your well-being, and allow yourself to rest. Rest is not something to be earned. It's not a reward. It's essential to keep functioning. If you tend to be a person that spreads yourself too thin, over schedules, and just trying to be there for other people constantly, really reflect on that and take a step back, because as the saying goes, you can't pour from an empty glass. Rest is productive. You need rest in order to avoid burnout, spreading yourself too thin. Prioritize what feels good, what brings you energy, what are energy givers and what are energy takers. And if you can find that out for yourself, it's easier to set boundaries. I always say this, if it's not an immediate yes with my full body, then it's a no. And I go by that because sometimes I know my body knows better than my mind. I tend to overthink a lot. And check with yourself what gives me energy and what doesn't. The other part of that is to protect your energy. Be really aware that energy takers can be and will be also other people that just take and take and take. And to live an easier or softer life, you just have to get comfortable setting boundaries, and that will feel uncomfortable. Stepping out of your comfort zone is going to be uncomfortable. If you change things, even if they felt good for a very long time, you still have to free yourself from this old shell or this old layer that's keeping you in this comfort zone. And in order to grow, we need to be comfortable with the uncomfortable. Key word for me to live a softer life is really the word intention. Being intentional with how I spend my time, with who do I spend my time with, and really reflecting back on that. Being mindful and intentional just really comes down to being present. For me, being present is the feeling that comes with the awareness that the past and the future don't exist. Do you know the feeling when you hang out with certain people where you're just lighting up from the inside because you're so excited to see them, they lift you up, and the time flies by so fast? I think these are exactly the moments when we feel really, really present. We don't think about a future scenario, we don't think about the past or any other things. We're just in the moment. Another example would be for me if I'm on vacation, being in a new place, like really taking it all in, and that the time passes so fast, right? That's really when I know how to be present. And being intentional just means really to focus on the present moments, taking one step at a time, not doing everything at once, trying to achieve all the things. Please let me know what a softer life means for you. I'm really curious about your definition. If you enjoyed this video, I think you will enjoy this one as well. I'll see you soon.